When it comes to football, you can always rely on The Sun to bring you the best coverage both on and off the pitch. And as our boys make their way to Germany to win the Cup, your number one Sun brings you an exclusive collection of England's greatest football moments, the goals and the glory from the best matches of the last 5 decades.
In the 9th minute, Bobby Robson scored.
But watch Bobby Charlton racing through the Mexicans with the ball at his feet. He shoots. First has a go, but out it comes to Peters. Jeff Hurst confirms the victory beyond any shadow of doubt.
Francis. He's there! He loves that! Oh, Chivers. And he got the touch.
Looking, curling that in again towards Kevin Keegan! The England goal that we wanted, and Keegan is the scorer! Here's Ball now, with the cross as McDonald comes in, yes! Played back for Brooking. Terrific goal! A terrific goal by Brooking!
Hold on, it's Francis, and Robson! Now it's in!
4 in the area. Lineker!
And Lineker! And there it is! England are through to the quarter-finals of the World Cup. Here's Gascoigne. Oh, brilliant! Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
Gascoigne, Sheringham waits.
This is developing into one of the most memorable performances that an England team has put up in recent years. Beckham! Yes! He's done it! It's 2-2! It can go on again to Wayne Rooney. And Rooney shot! Oh, fabulous! Crouch comes in far side, but then, oh! Then we've got it! England have scored again, it's right below it! It's 3-2! What an amazing finish!
Hello and welcome to the 1960s, the decade that gave us our greatest triumph when we won the World Cup, and players such as the Charlton boys, Bobby Moore, Martin Peters, Jeff Hurst and Gordon Banks became household names. And who could forget Nobby Stiles and his Jig of Joy. First up though, the Home Nations Championships, which featured England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales in an annual tournament. The final match in 1961 was played at Wembley between England and Scotland. It's one of international football's most celebrated fixtures, and this was the most notable meeting of them all. England had looked red hot in front of goal, scoring at least 4 times in each of their previous 4 games, and the Wembley crowd wasn't to be disappointed as the records started to tumble.
Scotland kicked off, and almost at once the white-shirted Englishmen were on the attack. In the 9th minute, Bobby Robson scored. Yes, an early shock for the visitors, and England maintaining pressure. Then after 10 minutes, Jimmy Greaves put England 2 up. Before half-time, a third, and slow motion shows a mistake by Haffey, pounced on by Greaves. Just my cuppa, mate. Scotland took up the tail in the second half and began to look like taking revenge. In 3 minutes, Dave Mackay's free kick got right through. Okay, Wadun. Almost at once, a Davy Wilson header made it 2-3. Intoxicating football. England, however, had their own ideas and drove down towards the Scots' goal. A sharp free kick, Haffey fumbles, a Douglas shot, and it's 4-2. England's 5th came from Bobby Smith. Scotland, still undismayed, now made a great effort. They were rewarded by a goal, credited to Pat Quinn. Then came 4 English goals in 7 minutes, one from Johnny Haynes. Another from Johnny Haynes. Jimmy Greaves gets his 3rd. Duly noted by Scots, not to mention Italians, and Smith again with England's 9th. Manuel Noguer at the fair is back. But for a clear case of hands, England might have made it 10. But of course, English fans had more to cheer about. England's victory was overwhelming and well-deserved.
9-3 was England's biggest margin of victory against Scotland. And more than 40 years later, the scoreline still has a certain magical quality. The poor Scottish keeper, Frank Haffey, playing in only his second international, was dubbed Slap Haffey. Never played for Scotland again. By now, the England forwards were hungry for goals every time they took the field. And the visiting Mexicans were next in the firing line, and it wasn't long before they knew their fate.
It was a fine afternoon for the international at Wembley. In fact, it turned out too hot for the visitors. Mexico kicked off against the white-shirted English 11, who took the initiative at once. Before anyone could say caramba, a beautiful centre from England's left wing was netted by Hitchens. A quick goal in his first international, and 10 minutes later, a Hitchens pass was banged in by Charlton. England, eager to take revenge for defeat in 1959, kept up the bombardment. After half an hour, Robson had put them 3 up. The Mexicans were left standing. They could do nothing about it, and just before half-time, a neat pass to Douglas, and it was 4-0. No one was depressed down Mexico way. Half-time was just a siesta con musica. Oh yes, this lot were having a fine time. The Mexicans on the field, however, thought it was time for a goal, and they nearly got one. Soon after this, a penalty taken by Flowers looked just too easy. England spent most of the match on the threshold of another goal. Their 6th was Charlton's 2nd. Good work by Armfield and Robson was the foundation for their next. It was Douglas who passed to Charlton for his 3rd. Thinking perhaps that Golimoto was having all the fun, the Mexican forwards now took up the story. Their gallant efforts, however, were not rewarded. And England hadn't quite finished. Their 8th goal, coming from a left-wing centre, was another for Douglas.
This was the first time England had scored 8 goals in consecutive games for over half a century. And this without Jimmy Greaves, who had missed the Mexico mauling because of suspension by his club, Chelsea. 2 weeks after that match, 90,000 vociferous Italians turned up at the Stadio Olimpico to see if Italy could beat England for the very first time. Enthusiastic as the fans were, it was nothing compared to the photographers who were determined to get as close to the action as possible.
Up goes Losey again. Strange to see 2 right backs with the same style of play as Losey and Armfield. Loiacono. Beautiful one to Moira, and a great save by Springett. Leaving it for Armfield. Oh, Hitchens has scored. Oh, what a defensive blunder by the Italians. That was shattering sort of a goal with 38 minutes gone. Hitchens has put England 1-0 into the lead. So the dying minutes of the first half, Loiacono with the free kick for Italy. Back to Loiacono. In comes Mora. Well, that shows you the value of good defense. 3 men behind Springett as he came out. Throw to Italy. Polki to Castelletti. Sivori. A great goal, a brilliant goal. Oh, and what joy is going on in the crowd. And there's Sivori, absolutely surrounded. The referee trying to get the photographers off the field, but after 43 minutes, Sivori has equalized. Losey, the right back, coming up. That's Corso. And a brilliant save by Springett. Reeves to Haynes, and that was one time the England boys were a bit too fast. Robson, appeal for a goal for hands, for everything, and the referee is giving nothing. Hitchens. A beautiful one to Haynes, a glorious chance. And a glorious save, and Buffon is hurt. Buffon is hurt. And on the field with the trainers come scores of photographers who are being ordered off by the referee. That was a desperate save by Buffon.
The poor old keeper Lorenzo Buffon is lying prone on the ground, and the first to arrive are the photographers. Buffon had to be stretchered off. Well, not exactly stretchered off, more like dragged off.
And it looks as if Buffon is right out. Sivori to Polki, to Sivori. This is a chance for Italy. And, well, it must have been Briganti who put it over the top. Here come Italy again. Sivori, Moira. Back to Sivori. To Loiacono, Briganti, it's there. He scored, Briganti. On come the photographers. The stadium erupts as Italy, who have never beaten England at all, are 2-1 in the lead. Now it's Robson. Greaves. Hitchens making ground on his left, a pass, but Hitchens through. A goal! That's the second goal for Hitchens. With 12 minutes left for play, England have equalized. Corso and Briganti moving in very quickly. And another brilliant save by Springett. Trapattoni, the left half-back. Now to Haynes, that's a bad one. To Greaves. He scored! And the England reserves go mad as 5 minutes from the end, England have taken the lead. And the handful of English people here leap to their feet, and this really is a shock that England should be 3-2 in the lead.
When Alf Ramsey took over from Walter Winterbottom in 1963, he predicted that England would win the World Cup 3 years later. No chance, many said, especially when he set about building a side with no wingers, something unheard of back in the 60s. Even victory against the West Germans in a friendly at Wembley early in 1966 failed to silence the doubters. England's last competitive match before the World Cup was against the Scots at Hampden Park. Whilst the rest of Scotland was under a blizzard, Glasgow was bathed in sunshine. So maybe the ref was blinded by the sun, because he failed to act on several legitimate penalty claims.
It's England. Hunt. The ball. Oh, surely Hurst must score. He has done. Hurst has scored for England. 18 minutes gone, and Hurst puts England in the lead, 1-0. Johnstone. Wallace. What about a shot from Wallace? And England charge back in defence. No challenges, of course, until near the penalty area. This is pulled back by Styles, and that could well be a penalty, but Styles got away with that. Finding England much too good for them. Now back come England, and it's Hurst to Hunt, to his onside, and that's the second goal. And 35 minutes gone, and Hunt has made it 2-0 for England. Connelly to Ball. Is Connelly's onside again. Jack Charlton with the free kick for England. 5 minutes from half-time. England cruising along comfortably. 2-0 in the lead. This is Hurst. Ball there with him. And Connelly. Corner to Scotland. And Scotland not going to use the short corner this time. Law, a great goal. Beautiful goal by Law. Dennis Law, the man that so many of the Scots criticise so often, has scored for Scotland 4 minutes from half-time. And Baxter having a sad match at left half. And here's Bobby Charlton. And a penalty, surely. And Hurst is looking absolutely amazed that the referee didn't get that, but it seemed to be palmed away by a defender. But however, play on, so that's both sides can claim they should have had a penalty in this match. Johnston. And that was John Stone. Jackie Charlton's had his name taken, no doubt, for going to the referee and asking about penalty incident by saying young Johnston, then getting the ball across quickly. He was much more effective than he was at all in the first half. Now here comes Hunt, and he scored the third for England. Once again, the Scottish defence has been wide open and Ball making the pass. So in 2 minutes of the second half, England now are in the lead by 3-1. This is Gemmell. Johnstone having to come back for it, which slows up the momentum of the attack. Law now to Johnstone. He should score. He has done. A beautiful ball from Law to Johnstone, and it's 3-2 now with 11 minutes of the second half gone. Scotland really come out fighting in the second half, putting up a much better show than they did in the first. It's Johnston and Jack Charlton there. Bremner, the first time I think in the second half we've seen him moving up with the attack. Up to Johnstone, number 7. It's a beauty! And how did Law miss it? He could only have been an inch away. That's to Charlton. Not had one full-blooded shot from Charlton yet, so that'll do. And what a goal! Well, that's Charlton at his most menacing. 17 minutes left for play, and it's 4-2 for England. Look at the pack system in work now for England. This is Ball. He's got Hunt there with him. And is that inside or is it outside? And I only hope that, and if the referee thinks that is an indirect free kick, and it's being, but it is an indirect free kick. Well, the Scots can always claim that they've been trying for years to get this, perhaps the worst law in the football law book, changed and do away with indirect free kicks. Charlton to Scotland, who trail 4-2. Baxter. Johnstone, he scored! And Jimmy Johnstone has scored Scotland's third. with 10 minutes to go. Well, these are the moments when a spot of desperation can creep into the play of both teams. The team that keeps the coolest will win it. It's number 7, Johnstone. Outside the area. Who's going to take it? Johnstone, number 7, no Baxter. That was Greg touching that one when it was going straight for Law. England now clinging on to their 4-3 lead. The cameramen massed behind the English goal. And England don't look 10 yards. In goes Law. Corner. Tremendous pressure by Scotland now in these dying 5 minutes. England 11 men back in defence. This is now tremendous stuff. It's been a great second half, but these last few minutes have been stupendous. Johnstone. Bremner. That's a penalty. That is a penalty, I would say. Well, without a doubt, I would have said that was inside. So the score now reads that it should have been 2 penalties each. And it's off the line by Styles. Well, those lucky enough to have seen this game will talk about it for years. Is he offside? No, he's not. And a chance for Connelly. And a fine tackle, that by McKinnon, who's almost out on his feet. This is Bremner. And there goes the whistle. It's all over, I think. It is all over. England have beaten Scotland by 4-3 after this tremendous match. And so one of the greatest battles between England and Scotland ends with the traditional changing of shirts and a match which no one will forget. A tremendous match won by England 4-3. A match in which Scotland were outclassed in the first half and then came back in the second, inspired by Law and by Bremner, making England go flat out. But the England defence really held out a splendid match, and the crowd going away as happy as if Scotland had won. And Bremner and Styles and Ball, 3 men who play their hearts out. Here they come, and even Bremner now having changed into an England shirt. And so England have won by 4-3 in an international match we won't forget for a long, long time.
4-3 to England, but 2-2 on penalties not given. The fans may have been treated to a thriller, but Alf Ramsey was distinctly unimpressed. He said after the match, "I thought there was some appalling football played. We must be much, much tighter." And tighter England were when 15 nations came to this country for the world's greatest tournament, World Cup finals.
71 nations entered the contest, 16 reached the final rounds, and wearing their national colours, schoolboys parade around the stadium at the opening ceremony at Wembley. As well as Wembley, the contest embraces all the great soccer centres around the country: Middlesbrough, Manchester, Sheffield, Sunderland, Liverpool and Birmingham. The first World Cup ever held in this country, it's the greatest sporting event Britain has ever seen, and never had England stood a better chance of winning.
I am very pleased that this country is acting as host for the final phases of the World Cup. I welcome all our visitors and feel sure that we shall be seeing some fine football.
After a short speech, Her Majesty meets England's first opponents, Uruguay, twice winners of the World Cup, captained by Trochet. Bobby Moore's men with only one change in the team that recently beat Poland. So England, who've never yet won the World Cup, begin the last leg of their quest for the trophy. And they begin with Moore, Wilson and Bobby Charlton sending the Uruguayans back into defence. Then Connelly forces a corner. Altogether, England got 15 corners, Uruguay only 1. But a corner is no guarantee of a goal. Uruguay sometimes took the initiative, and it was lucky for goalie Banks, facing right into the sun, that most of the time the play was in the other half. In fact, defence is the Uruguayans' great strength. Seldom could England pierce their uncompromising determination, not even Jimmy Greaves. Alf Ramsey spent over 3 years planning his World Cup machine. What a disappointment to see this machine so easily obstructed. It was the same in the second half, with England becoming almost frantic for a win. But Uruguay were more than content with a stalemate and the 1 point they received for a drawn game. Surely this one should have got through. So that was it, and some of the England team only too glad to get off the field. Of course, disappointment is not defeat, but one axiom has been learned: never underestimate your opponent. And England beat Mexico. Both teams had drawn their previous games, and this was England's chance to prove they could pierce the Latin American defence. Mexico kick off, and the ball goes straight to Banks. He only had to make 2 saves in the whole match. Now England sweep into attack, setting the picture for the rest of the game. Mexico put 8 men into the defence zone, and for nearly the whole of the match kept them there. But when they did come out, they too, in spite of some clever passing, failed in front of the goal. But watch Bobby Charlton, racing through the Mexicans with the ball at his feet. He shoots. The second half was a repetition of the first. Time and again, England's forwards pierced the solid defence, but just as often they lacked the accuracy to score. Mexican goalie Calderon played a brilliant game, adding to England's discomfort. Now the second goal, Greaves shoots. It's cleared and Hunt nets it from the rebound.
A signature goal from Bobby Charlton had set England on their way. And by the time they'd reached the semi-final, England had still to concede a goal. France had been beaten 2-0 and Argentina 1-0 in the quarter-final. After which, Alf Ramsey, who was never shy of saying what he really thought, was forced to apologise for calling the Argentinians animals. England's semi-final opponents, Portugal, had beaten the favourites Brazil, and then, inspired by the tournament's outstanding player Eusebio, had overturned a 3-0 half-time deficit against the North Koreans. The semi-final was widely recognised as the game of the tournament. Well, for 4 days at least.
England kick off against Portugal in the second semi-final. So far they haven't had a goal scored against them, so they move confidently into the attack at the start of a fast, open game, one of the best this World Cup contest has seen. Jose Pereira, Portugal's goalkeeper, has his work cut out to keep England at bay. Apart from the ultimate result, the main problem was how Nobby Stiles, England's stormy petrel, would behave. England moved down the field. Pereira fails to smother a shot from Hunt, and Bobby Charlton's there with England's first. England lead 1-0, and Portugal suddenly come alive. Eusebio, wonder footballer of the series with 7 goals to his credit, takes his team deep into the English half. When they change over, Portugal is still on the offensive, intent on that equaliser. Again, England are in the picture, getting the ball well down the field. Geoff Hurst keeps possession, and Bobby Charlton's right there. "2-0, and the spirit seems to have gone out of the Portuguese. But on one of their rare sorties into English territory, Jackie Charlton blunders. A penalty taken by Eusebio, Banks unbeaten so far in the series, and Eusebio puts it past him. He's got 8 goals in the series. Now Portugal become revitalized. Desperately they try for that second goal. But there's the whistle. England have reached the final for the first time. How's that for optimism? But you'll be able to see in colour how the World Cup is won in our next Movietone issue. Hats off to England and all praise to the great Bobby Charlton. Portugal were magnificent in defeat, but that's little consolation to have come so far and failed.
Alf Ramsey faced a dilemma when deciding who should play against West Germany in the final. Should he recall Jimmy Greaves, our most natural goal scorer? Greaves, who had been injured in the France match, was desperate to play. But Ramsey stuck with the striker who'd scored against Argentina, Geoff Hurst. The 30th of July 1966 remains the most famous date in England's football history. For the first time, the national side would appear in a World Cup final, and on home soil. But West Germany promised to be a tough nut to crack, even without the assistance of a certain Russian linesman, who later that day would become the most famous linesman in World Cup history.
97,000 people paid over £200,000 to see it, the greatest soccer game ever played in these islands. England in red instead of their usual white, never before in the World Cup final, but playing a team who've never beaten us before, West Germany, who won the Cup in 1954. Bobby Moore and Uwe Seeler exchange banners. Swiss referee Gottfried Dienst spins the coin. And West Germany are to kick off. It's exactly 36 years to the day since the very first final in Montevideo. For the thousands at Wembley, for the millions who've been following the contest all over the world, this is the climax. One of the 3 West Ham players in the side, number 16, Martin Peter. In the German goal, Tilkowski. Nobby Stiles in a movement which is to end with Tilkowski clashing with Geoff Hurst. And Tilkowski is injured in the face. But thank heavens, the injury wasn't serious. Helt, number 10. But Emmerich fails to complete. Then after 12 minutes, Helt has the ball again. England fails to clear his centre, and Haller punches on it to score. Oddly enough, no team which scored first has ever won a World Cup final. Would this jinx work for England? Would victory crown their first appearance in the final? Only 6 minutes after Germany's opener, Bobby Moore is fouled by Overath. Moore takes the kick, and Geoff Hurst puts England level. Weber to Sailor in a dangerous retaliation. It featured Haller, number 8. And Overath, 12. Dangerman Held was always around. But English feet stay firmly in control. Now Held takes a corner for Germany. And now it's England with an offensive that must have warmed Alf Ramsey's heart. And it's still stalemate at half-time. England kick off for phase 2. Peters again. Germany's Overath to Held. And on to Beckenbauer, one of the outstanding players in the championship. Gordon Banks, as always, superbly confident. Peters has another go. But his glory was to come. Ball takes a corner. Hurst has a go, but out it comes to Peters. With that superb shot, England are in the lead. If they can hold on for 13 more minutes, the championship is theirs. But Haller, Helt and Emmerich make those minutes seem like hours. It puts years on you waiting to see if England can make it a certainty, to see if Bobby Charlton can make it 3-1. Not that time, nor this time for Germany. Then only 30 seconds from the whistle, a free kick for Germany. Weber has equalized. The World Cup has slipped from our fingers. So it's extra time, 30 more minutes of agonizing effort over this exhausting rain-soaked turf. For Germany, it's the chance to steal victory from the very jaws of defeat. Held centers, and there's nobody there. The psychological effect on England must have been horrifying. But with men like Alan Ball and George Cohen, every problem has an answer. It came in the 10th minute. Ball passes to Hurst, and he scores England's third. The referee had to consult the Russian linesman before awarding the goal. It was strongly disputed on the grounds it hadn't crossed the line. Another camera angle may help you to decide for yourself. So England were in the lead, but not out of trouble after changing ends for the second half of extra time. Then with the crowd calling for time and the final whistle only seconds away, England get the ball upfield and Hurst goes through on his own. With his third goal in the game, Geoff Hurst confirms the victory beyond any shadow of doubt. From the Queen, Bobby Moore receives the trophy, the golden symbol of international supremacy. All honour to England and all praise to West Germany. Few other teams would have made such worthy finalists. To Alf Ramsey, our admiration and our thanks. Remember, 3.5 years ago, he said, "We will win the Cup in 1966. In doing so, England has won more than the trophy. She's achieved a new stature in the game she gave the world.
Football's greatest prize had come home, to where the game was born. And it's about time it came back again. If you've enjoyed these fantastic moments from the 60s, don't miss the other DVDs in this exclusive series. And remember, for the greatest World Cup coverage every day, you can't beat the sun. We love it.